The adventures of Moa Dweeb on Spice World continue in Dune Part 2, where Timothy Shamalama Ding Dong and Bald Elvis get into a knife fight over space Iraq. Based on Frank Herbert's 1960s sci-fi novel about space cadets huffing worm poop so they can get stoned out of their minds and calculate space travel, the film follows the book for the most part with a few glaring and very off-putting exceptions. Now, I'm a sci-fi fan myself, and you'd think all of the ingredients are here for a space movie that I would enjoy. We have a galactic empire, a desert planet, sand crawlers, angry sand people, giant sandworms, and even a mystical order that can do mind tricks. So what did I think of it? Well, get ready for my spicy take on Dune. And before you unsubscribe, I will say the film is produced very well. I did enjoy the sense of scale, the cinematography was beautiful, and the performances for the most part were good across the board. It was a very well crafted and directed film. And to be fair, if you enjoy the overall thematic message of the book, you'll probably enjoy this. However, there are some significant changes to a certain character that I'll touch on in a moment that you may not enjoy. Now, this may seem insignificant or unimportant, but film is a visual medium, and there were certain things in the design of the picture that I just didn't like. The simplistic, modern fashion designer aesthetic of the film, for instance. For me, I found the costumes and set design lacked personality. The princess and emperor's costumes lacked the pomp and ceremony you'd expect from the rulers of the galaxy. And why does she have a doily on her head? Your guess is as good as mine. Christopher Walken as the emperor didn't have a regal or commanding quality. He looked like an old guy in his PJs that just got out of bed. He should have looked more impressive. Kinda like this. Okay, I'm obviously joking here, but it would have been nice to see him in a more ceremonial-looking costume. Now, I always heard Dune was an amazing story, and that it's essentially Lord of the Rings for sci-fi fans. But after watching this film, I've come to the unfortunate conclusion that even though it's a very intricate and well-written story, I dislike the core thematic message of the book. So even though I find the world of Dune interesting, I don't enjoy the story of Dune personally. I find it nihilistic and grim. Even when the protagonist, Paul, wins major victories in the film, it never felt heroic or uplifting to me. It felt like the film was trying to hammer home the point of how, quote, dangerous it is to believe in something, or someone. I also disliked how they changed Chani's character. Rather than believing in Paul and standing by his side, she rejects the prophecy and the beliefs of her people. In short, I find her lack of faith disturbing. And the change to her character was unnecessary, in my opinion. They also left out the mystery of the navigators who use this spice to calculate space travel. In the original novel, as well as David Lynch's 1980s film, Paul can look into the future, into a dark place where the Bene Gesserits fear to look. After drinking the sacred water of life, he becomes a powerful and almost sacred being. But in this version, when he drinks the water, his powers seem on par with the Bene Gesserits, diminishing his significance as the Kwisatz Haderach. Without going into spoilers, there is also no satisfying conclusion to the film. In its final moments, they introduced two major unresolved plot threads that made the movie feel unfinished and unsatisfying to me as I left the theater. And to be perfectly honest, walking back to the car, I found myself struggling to think of anything I truly enjoyed about the picture. I know everyone's raving about it on the internet, but I guess you can call me Darth Vader because I'm not one of them. Guess when it comes to sci-fi franchises about space worms, I'm more of an Earthworm Jim guy. Tremors is also pretty wizard. Give me a redneck shooting a graboid over Muad'Dib any day. Again, if you're a big fan of the books, you'll probably enjoy this movie. But just a warning to parents. While Dune Part 2 is PG-13, it's a very hard PG-13. I would even say a breath away from being rated R. Not only due to the violence, but how the violence is depicted on screen. There are many elements, particularly with the Harkonnens, that would disturb younger viewers. So if you're gonna go see this one, hire a babysitter. This has been Vader Reviews. Until next time. May the Force be with you.